Hi, welcome to Majesty's House of Music. We keep providing you great content to help you improve your piano playing, especially for those of you who are playing praise and worship music. The key of F sharp is common to many of us. I don't know why, but that's why we have taken time to develop courses which help those of you who are playing in the key of F sharp to go deeper. Okay, we post many free lessons on our channel, but we also have courses that you can order for those of you who want to go another step. A step higher in your learning. These courses are long. They go for 3, 4, 5 hours and they're broken down in chapters very well. Now the advanced F sharp course has so much. I'm going to post some extracts of that course here so that you can have a preview of what you expect if you decide to get the full course. I'll put a link to my website in the description below this video where you can find more information about this course, and I also put my contacts for those of you who are interested in ordering the advanced F sharp course. So let's have a look at some of the extracts and I expect to hear from you if you are willing to get this course.
Welcome to our fourth chapter in this F sharp course. So this is going to be about diminished chords, and as I'm dealing with diminished, I'll mainly be dealing with diminished seventh chords. Okay, so diminished seventh chords. So a diminished chord looks something like this. That's an F sharp diminished chord. Okay, so from the major you just drop your third and your fifth. Then in order to make it a diminished seventh, you have to add this note. So that becomes a diminished seventh. Okay, we are not only going to be using the diminished seventh, but so the F sharp is the A, is the C, and is the D sharp. All those are the same thing. They are just inversions of each other. Okay, the F sharp one, the A, the C, and the D. The second group we have is G, B flat, C sharp, and E. And the last group we have is A flat, B, D, and F. So we only have those three groups, okay? And they are all inversions of each other, okay? So the A diminished seventh is just an inversion of the F sharp diminished seventh, okay? Same for the C and the D sharp. So they are just inversions of the same thing, okay? So there are normally many basic uses, okay? So the movement I was talking about on minor chords, the 5-chord movement. Basically, you can see I was turning the chord from a minor to a diminished seventh chord. And what is the diminished seventh chord? This one. Okay? Okay? So basically that's what I was doing. Okay? But I taught this movement in the previous chapter, so check it very well. So basically that's one use along with the 5. Okay? As long as you're playing a 5 chord, you can play it with a 4 diminished seventh. Okay? So okay? Okay? Oh. If you want to make it sound a little bit fancier, you just start from the major 7, then bring it back to the diminished sevenths. Okay, so this is the B major 7. Make it a diminished seventh. Then back to the 1. Okay, so that should be quite simple. Okay, so or in other, you can just choose to extend the diminished seventh chord a little bit. Okay, so instead of dropping the whole thing, you just drop the 2 middle notes. So that's the D sharp and the F sharp. Okay, so you just drop them. So okay, so That's what you can do, okay? Same thing. Another movement I could teach you is the 6-2-5, okay? So the 6, play the 6 with an F sharp major 7 chord. F sharp, A, C sharp, and F, okay? That's an F major 7 with the D sharp bass line. Then to the 2, make it a diminished 7th, okay? So that becomes an F sharp, A, C, and D sharp, okay? So then to the 5. And as you can see, I like to play the 5 as a dominant 7, not as a straight 5, okay? Not something like, okay, so, okay, I'm playing it as some kind of dominant 7 chord, okay? So, or instead of doing that, you can play the whole thing on, you can do as we did here, okay, this. So you can start with the 2, with the 4 major 7, then the 5 with the diminished 7th, like we said, then to the 1. It's the same thing we are doing here, the 6, then the diminished 7th to the 5. But what Okay, welcome to Majesty's House of Music. Now this is chapter 5 on our course on the key of F sharp. So in this chapter we are going to be looking at suspended chords. And when I'm talking about suspended, I'm talking about 2 types of suspended chords, that is suspended 2 and suspended 4 chords. So if this is your F sharp major chord, for the suspended 2, you just drop this 3rd to the 2nd. So you have, that's your sus 2, okay? Then for the suspended 4, you just sharpen this 3rd to the 4th, okay? So that's your F sharp sus 4. Your F sharp sus 2, sus 4, sus 2, sus 4. So we're going to be using suspended chords for many keys, okay? So maybe like E flat suspended 2, we're going to be using E suspended 2, F sharp, A flat, B flat, even B, C sharp. Okay, so we're going to be using very many types of suspended chords. So let me start with the basic theory. So this is your 1. So if you're going to be playing using suspended chords, this will be your 1 chord. Now, this chord is a D sharp suspended 2, okay? I'm doing the extension here. As you can see, I'm playing the B flat and B flat, okay? So I have B flat, E flat, F, and B flat again. So then on my left hand, I will have something like, so I have F sharp and F on my left hand. So that's my 1, okay? So instead of playing your 1 like this all the time, so you can play, okay? And most times what you like to do is you just toil up the E flat to the F, so you can ignore this note. So you have, okay, or okay, so, or you just play both of them, okay? Then this is your 2. Okay, so you have G sharp, E and F sharp. Then on your right hand you have B, E, F sharp and B. Okay, so that's your 2. Now this is the E suspended 2 chord. Okay, so that's for your 2. Your 3, you have on my left hand I have B flat, I have F sharp and I have A flat. Okay, then on my right hand I have C sharp, F sharp, G sharp and C sharp. Okay, so you have your 1, 2, your 3, your 4. Okay, so you have B, you have G sharp, you have A sharp, then you have D sharp, G sharp, A sharp and D sharp. Okay, that's your 4. Then for the 5, we don't really like to use the suspended chord on the 5 chord. Okay, for the 5, what we normally do is we use B flat, but not as a suspended chord, as a major chord. Okay, so normally they will play, and I think I taught you this earlier, the major 3 over the 5. Okay, and like I told you earlier, it always resolves back to the 1 chord. Okay, so as you can see, I used it as a major, not as a suspended. You cannot even use it as a suspended, because if you use it as a suspended, you're going to have to play this note, and this note is not required in your voicing for a 5 chord. Okay, so I have C sharp, G sharp and B. Then on my right hand I have F, A sharp, D and F. Okay, so that for the 5 we use a major chord, then resolves back to the 1. Okay, welcome to the last chapter of our F sharp major course. Now this is the last chapter I am teaching, and then for the other 2 or 3 chapters we'll be doing demonstrations. So this one is going to be on quarter chords. I followed this up with the suspended chords section, if you have seen, because quarter chords are basically inversions of suspended chords. Now, as we were saying, the F sharp suspended 2 chord looks like this. Okay, that's the F sharp suspended 2 chord. Okay, now the F sharp suspended 2 chord inverted becomes a quarter chord. Okay, so assuming I play this F sharp on higher, it becomes something like that. Okay, so this is what I call a quarter chord. This is what I call a quarter chord, and the reason why I call it a quarter chord is because it usually involves fourths. Okay, assuming you wanted a quarter chord that starts on F sharp. Okay, assuming you wanted a quarter chord that starts on F sharp, what you would do is you would use the major scale of F sharp. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, then play the 4th. So that's still not a quarter chord. It has to have at least 3 notes. So the next note will be on the major scale of B, the 4th on the major scale of B, and this should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have that becomes a quarter chord. Okay, so this is a quarter chord, this one. So if I play all the quarter chords, let's say from C to B, this is how they look like. C, you have C sharp, you have D, you have D sharp, you have E, you have F, You have F sharp, you have G, you have G sharp, you have A, you have B flat, and finally you have B. So those are the 12 quarter chords you have on the piano. So you have those 12, and remember they have different shapes. So like you see the C quarter chord, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B. So that's how quarter chords look like. Okay, so we are going to see how we can use these quarter chords on the key of F sharp. Okay, on the key of F sharp. Now we'll start with common uses. Okay, so on the key of F sharp we have something like this. So if you have your F sharp major chord on the major scale, what we like to do is, if the quarter chord, let's say, starts on F sharp, so that is this. If that is your quarter chord, your bass line on the right is supposed to be a tone higher than F sharp. Okay, so that's G sharp. Okay, so if your quarter chord starts on G sharp, that means your bass line will be A sharp. Okay, it will be a tone higher. Okay, let's say your bass line is C. That's a flat 5. Okay, your bass line is C. That means your quarter chord will start from B flat. Okay, so let's say your bass line is D, which is your flat 6 on the key of F sharp. Your quarter chord will start on C. Okay, let's say you have this quarter chord, C sharp, F sharp, and B. As long as it starts from C sharp, your bass line starts from D sharp. Then you have this. So let's say now you are playing on the key of F sharp. Okay, for F sharp we don't normally have a quarter chord. Okay, so for F sharp we don't normally have a quarter chord, but I'll show you another way we can have a quarter chord on F sharp. But using this general rule, you will not quite have a quarter chord on F sharp. So your first quarter chord will start from G, which is your flat 2 or sharp 1. So as long as your quarter chords welcome to Majesty's House of Music. Now, if you checked the previous video, that was a demonstration video for the song We Give You Glory, Lord. Okay, so basic progression I'm using. So I'm playing from the 1, we give you glory Lord, to the 2, as we honor you, 3, okay, then to the 4, we give you 5, then 7, 3, 6, then still on the 6, 2, 4, 5, then that's a 5 over the 4, then 3, 6, 2, so then 4, 5, nah, so at some point I did a 6, 2, 5, 6, 7, so that's the melody of the song, okay? So I was just giving you the progression of the song. So 3, 6, 2. At some points I did this flat 6, 5, then 6, 2, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, so that's just the progression I was using. So now I will demonstrate to you how I was playing it. Okay, so I started with a 6, 7, 1, and this one is in the suspended chords section. Okay, okay, that's how I started. So D sharp and F sharp. On my right hand I have B, C sharp and F sharp. Okay, then so that's F and G sharp. On my right hand I have C sharp, D sharp and G sharp. Then I have an F sharp at 9 chord. So I have F sharp, G sharp and A sharp on my left hand. Then I have an F sharp major chord on my right hand. C sharp, F sharp and A sharp. Okay, so 6, 7, 1. Then I might have played something like this. So that's a 2 chord. So you have G sharp, F sharp and B. Then on my right hand I have an F sharp major chord, F sharp, A sharp and C sharp. Okay, okay, so 6, 7, 1. And I say for the 2 you don't have to voice it this way, you can voice it this way. Okay, where you just play a 2 chord on your left hand, G sharp, B and D sharp. Okay, with the 1 chord on your right. You could even play anything. I told you for the 2 you can play any note on the scale apart from the 7. So any note, this one, Welcome to Majesty's House of Music. This is going to be a breakdown on the demonstration you just saw before of the song Bow Down and Worship Him by Benjamin Dube. So I moved it to the key of F sharp. It's normally on the key of D, but for learning purposes, I'm just going to be using the key of F sharp. So here is the progression I used. The first part I used a 6 to the 7 to the 1. So okay, then I still use that 6 7 1 twice. Then I used a 2 4 5. Okay, then I used a 3. Okay, so that's the first part. So here are the chords for the first part. So you have your 6. Okay, so you have such a chord. You have D sharp and F sharp on your left hand. Then you have G sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and F sharp on your right hand. Okay. Okay. So this is an F sharp at 9 chord. The inversion. Yeah, it's the first inversion, I believe. Yeah. So then you might have heard me do something like this on the 7. Okay. So that one is this, starting from the 1. So that's C sharp, F sharp, and A sharp. Then to this chord, C sharp, F sharp, and B. So then I have D sharp, G sharp, and C sharp. So, but I'm leading into the G sharp from the F sharp, if you noticed. I'm doing something like that. So you have your 6, then so that's your 7. Then okay, so you just play the 4 note. So then that's B note on your right hand, then to the 1. So you have F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp.